Hello there, this is AnY and I have a question for you. Did fan content ever influence your perception of the show? Oh boy, don't you guys just love all those amazing creations that come out of this fandom? Memes, drawings, comics, fictions, some of them the size of entire book series, and of course the animations. Those animations. I know some people don't care about all that, but the great majority of the fandom is into one form of fan content or another. I certainly am. Those who aren't often bring arguments like, well, I stick to what is actually canon, all this other stuff just can't hold water, it is only going to mess with your perception of the show. Yeah, like the show never contradicts itself. Also, come on, how bad can it be? We are so familiar with Twilight and Co, we automatically compare their appearance in fiction or animation or whatever back to the original. When they are done well, we say, that's very show accurate. When it differs from the canon, we are more like, that's an interesting interpretation of the character. Well, at least I thought it would work like that. And for dominant characters like the main cast, that might actually be true. But what about the more underdeveloped characters? Background ponies, one-shot characters, or even regular members of the supporting cast. During season 4 I had to learn the hard way that this danger of fan-created content actually is real. I had been able to enjoy most of this season's episodes, even the more controversial ones. For the most time, meh was the worst I had to say about an episode. When something really bothered me, I had been able to make an argument why I think so. Except this one time. For whom the sweetie belle toils. Let's have a short look on my initial reaction to this episode. I can see people really liking this episode, even so if anybody likes it for fanboying over Luna, sorry, this was not Luna's best appearance, not to say one of her weaker ones. Well, this has not been the first time I give some superficial rant in one of my unscripted vlogs, but usually a few days later another analyst delivers some in-depth thought in their own videos I can point to. Not this time though. I guess it is up to me myself to put the point I was trying to make back then in a more cohesive and elaborate form. My issue with Luna was that she was so straight, so unreachable, such a total buzzkill. She rarely smiles, her eyes are always half closed, her movements are all stiff and her speaking so hammy and dramatic all the time. Isn't she supposed to be a curious, fun-loving, sometimes a bit immature mare? A bit socially awkward, but with a sense of humor and constantly trying to reach out to ponies in her strange mannerisms? If I recall correctly, I was pretty much the only one having this issue. Most fellow analysts even said the complete opposite. They loved the episode and especially Luna's portrayal. Considering that I'm an infallible super genius, I must be right and everybody else wrong, aren't I? So let's go over all of Luna's previous appearances in the show and prove my superiority. Pilot episodes. She has just been awoken from a more or less literal 1000-year-long lasting nightmare and is still pretty confused and overwhelmed by everything. Doesn't really count for either side. One season later, Luna Eclipsed. Here modern Luna gets introduced. Her main theme is that she starts out with this stiff, outdated behavior and is trying to adapt to the new time she is now living in and to connect to the ponies. I can totally see both versions of Luna in that episode. In the beginning it is more the one we later on actually got in the Sweetie episode, and in the end she develops more into the direction I expected her to be like. Next appearance. Canterlot wedding? Huh? I was so sure she had been in that one. Oh, there she is! Yeah, we can ignore her appearance in that one. The Crystal Empire. I really like Luna in that one. Down to earth, straightforward, proactive. But it once again doesn't really help either side, since this is a completely new side of Luna. This is Crisis Luna, not mundane Luna we are trying to determine here. Sleepless in Ponyville. Her appearance here was very brief and very mystic, not really helping to determine her character, except that she apparently likes to help scared fillies. But this is basically Utopian Magical Fantasy Ruler 101. The wink at the end hints towards the more casual and joyful Luna I am looking for, so. But I admit that this is just grasping for straws on my end. We can basically skip over Magical Mystery Cure and Princess Twilight Sparkle since Luna has more or less the role of a background pony in those. And we are back at For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. with the conclusion that we actually barely know anything about Luna. Therefore, my criticism of her betrayal in this episode has no canon proof to back it up whatsoever. Now, where did my interpretation of Luna that felt so strong and solid that it basically spoiled this episode as well as Luna's appearance in Twilight's Kingdom for me come from? Well, Past Sins, Gamer Luna, The Lunaverse, Children of the Night, and many more. And those pseudo-official comics aren't helping either. Seriously, how canon are those supposed to be? Luna is pretty much a 180 of what she is presented as in Season 4. Anyways, fact is, I have been influenced by fan content to a point where I could not tell anymore what was actually canon and what I picked up somewhere else. Only by looking back now I can see where my unjustified disapproval of her development in Season 4 is coming from. Fun fact though, something similar already happened before with the same character, with Luna, on a far bigger scale. In the year between the pilot episodes and Luna Eclipsed, Luna already got a large following, but entirely based on the shy, insecure and huggable Luna from the end of the pilots. Her reinvention in Season 2 must have caused one of the first big brony dramas, I have been told. And now here I am, 2 years later, falling for the same trap myself. But I am sure I am not the only one. Have you ever made the experience that fan-produced content was so convincing that you subconsciously adopted it as part of canon? What was it? And did it end up in a similar inner conflict as it did for me? Or, maybe even more interesting, did something actually enhance your viewing experience? Leave your reply down in the comments, either as text, in video form, or whatever you think works best. Just keep in mind, I prefer short and to-the-point answers. If the length of your comment gives me the urge to put it on my Film Fiction Read Later list, I am most likely going to skip it. Hashtag AnY Soaring Out Special Announcement. At this point, a little shout out to Scruffy Pony and Jove the Loaf, the musicians behind the songs Cloud Kicker, that has been playing through the first part of this video, and Swing Tavi Swing, I am going to use in the second part. I love those songs, as well as all the others I use throughout my videos. But you know what would be totally fucking awesome, not to say 20% cooler, having an actually unique soundtrack for my channel. I'd love to commission some of my favorite musicians to create a theme song, fitting background music for all my shows, and maybe some mood pieces. If you like this idea as well, you can help me make it happen. If I reach my second Patreon milestone, this is exactly where I'm going to spend my Patreon money. And of course I'm going to share those songs as Creative Commons with you guys once they are done. But for now, back to the show. Last time I asked, inspired by the episode Power Ponies, what fun crossovers between MLP and superheroes you can come up with. And boy, you had some ideas! Let's start off with the written suggestions, like the one from Sean Dark, or Sonic Full as he is known over on DeviantArts, featuring his idea what alternative cast he would have liked to see in the actual episode. Link below. Some other cool lineups for the main six are Gods of the Greek Pantheon, nice Pixar revivals, as well as characters from Spec Ops: The Line and Uncharted. Somebody else has to vote the quality of those picks since I'm not familiar with either game series. Further lineups, including not only the main cast, have been the Apples as the Fantastic Four, a crossover with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the background six as Power Ponies East. I see what you did there, Sky. Oh look, even us analysts get some love. To be precisely, KP gets some love as Harley Quinn from Discord as Joker. Wow. Here are three little summaries by Nayslayer, featuring Trixie as Witchblade, Twilight as Spawn, and Cadence as the Crow. More crossover ideas have been Persona 4 by Aaron Bundy, Soul Eater by Sister Lilybug, and Teddy Bear points us towards Cooler Kids fanfiction My Little Avengers. Doesn't a cross between MLP and Monster High already exist? Alright, it's called Equestria Girls. Fighting evil by moonlight, selling candy by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one Sailor Bonbon. Or to go with the more traditional pick, Twilight as Sailor Moon, because main characters, I guess. Sweetie Bloom took a more elaborate approach and did not only deliver this image showing the main six as the Sailor Scouts, but also made a video to explain why she casted them the way she did. Now for some single mentionings. Big Mac as Gordon Freeman. I get it, because they both say very little. Big Mac as Mr. Incredible and Big Mac as Superman? Well, he is shown to be bucking strong, so I guess it kind of fits. Featherweight as Spider-Cold. Chrysalis as Queen Bee. Discord as DC's Anarchy. Fausticon as Wonder Woman. Luna as Nightwing, I like that one. Shining Armor as Goku. Don't really see the connection, but hey, it's your pick. Sombra as Doomsday, and Spitfire as Katniss Everdeen. Interesting, I can actually see that for some reason. Voice of Reason suggests that Starswirl would make a nice Dr. Fate, which would make Twilight a really interesting Santana. Now here's an idea. Trixie as the Master. Screw the Bass Cannon, combine Vinyl Scratch with Black Canary and prepare for the warps. And finally, 2 suggestions for our favorite mystical zebra, Sakura as the Riddler. That's what you get for never talking straight, my dear. And Setsu from Naruto. And no, not just because of the color scheme. I like your way of thinking, Ray-Jan. Hey Cloud, not only is Jesus a textbook example of a superhero, people just seem to be struggling with the question if he's fictional or not, we can also consider this crossover as canon since Magical Mystery Cure. We also got a few more suggestions by Brunellisis. Ink Rose as Poison Ivy, for obvious reasons. Voice of Reason as Dr. Jekyll Mr. Hyde. I wonder where this idea came from. And me as a Green Goblin. I don't see any resemblance. One last funny idea from the written replies, Fallout Equestria's Little Pip as Black Widow, because they both kick ass. But enough boring written comments, it is time for a montage. Now for the absolutely bestest and most awesomest entry, and I'm not just saying that because I'm in it and I'm totally biased, but because it is drawn really well and kicks ass. The Analysis Avengers by Purple Fire 153. Even so, you picked the least American guy, I mean, given an AnY at least have English as a native tongue, as Captain America? I love the irony. This is AnY Ponies saying, see you soon.
If it's groove you're looking for, then you've come to the right place. A TVR, can't you see?